Okay, Rich.
Here we are.
Right.
Here we
Yeah.
are on this Sunday, the 7th of June. And we have a great special guest out there. For those of you that don't recognize him, this is Lieutenant Dave Grossman, Army Ranger, author. Uh, I can go on and on with things, but I'm going to let Lieutenant
Yeah,
Grossman take it away here in a minute. And Curly, welcome back. And let's go
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah, Lieutenant Colonel Grossman, you do
Oh, yeah.
not know how much of an honor this is to have you on the show.
It's my
1000%.
great honor, brother. And Rich, we were talking before the show. I guess you were at one of my presentations one time.
Yes, I was. I worked for the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office for 35 years, but back several years ago, I spent a 3-year stint in the Arizona Counterterrorism Information Center, and as a TLO, a terrorism liaison officer, I went to a block of instruction over in Anaheim, California, by the Gavin DeBecker and Associates, and you presented a block of instruction, and I was forever grateful to get the information I received from you.
Wow. You know, it was such an honor to work for Gavin DeBecker and Associates, and Gavin doesn't run them anymore. And it's interesting because right at the height of the whole anti-cop business, people were on full bore attack on anything law enforcement. They said, this is the bitch teaching killology, these murdering cops, taking quotes out of context. And DeBecker and those guys just pulled me off the show. Never even called me. And suddenly I'm no longer scheduled anymore.
Wow.
And they're good people doing great things. I love working with them. But man, that whole woke mind virus and the anti-cop
garbage, a lot of rhetoric.
How much harm was done, and people don't realize, just right up front. You know, the George Floyd riots started in May of 2020, and murder rates exploded, and so we've never seen more than a 13% annual increase in homicides. Just the number of dead people, people's lives stolen away. And 2020 was a 30% annual increase in homicides. Anybody see that in the headline news? 30% annual increase in homicides.
Yeah.
Almost more than double anything we've ever seen before. Boom, nothing. And then 2021 was the all-time record number of cops murdered in the line of duty. You've seen that in the headlines? Record number of cops murdered. 23, National Fraternal Order Police press release, major national press release, FOP said 23 all-time record number of cops shot in the line of duty. Anybody see that in the news? Well, why not? But here's the news. Here's the point. 25 was tied for the lowest number of cops murdered in the line of duty. 25 was the all-time record lowest murder rate in the history of our nation.
And I'm going to contribute that to the red wave.
That's the woke mind virus being kicked in the nuts.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we got to fight for that. I know you've had Alan West on here. I know you've had the governor, and and we've got to freaking fight for this.
Yeah.
Those woke bastards didn't just kind of do us some harm and fly. They had cops murdered by the fistfuls. They had Americans murdered, an explosion of homicides, unlike anything we've ever seen before. They did harm to our nation beyond anything we could dream of. And the media didn't even give it a blip. And that's why podcasts like this are so stinking important. That's why Curly, I know Curly's a big, Curly, he's what they call what do they call the face that gets on the but Curly's the guy that gets the big money on this show. I know that. I know he gets big bucks here.
No, I look.
Oh, come on, Curly.
No, I looked at
I know you're not getting paid anything. And
no, we don't.
Beans. And we're all taking time out of our lives to do this podcast.
Yeah.
And the great thing is it's not us. It's the people listening to this podcast. God bless every one of you who are getting good, solid information instead of the stuff the woke mind virus is pumping into our bloods. And we're fighting back by getting on pod shows like this and fighting the good fight and getting the information out. So God bless you, Curly. And you're the talent. That's the word. I'm the talent. I heard a guy say, I'm the talent, right?
No,
You're the talent. Really, you're the big name that everybody tunes into the show for, and you get paid the big bucks. And I know y'all ain't getting paid nothing. Let's make that clear. I know you're getting paid beans, and of course nobody's paying the people watching this podcast
Yeah.
to watch it.
you
They're
know,
here because
it,
they want information, and that's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing. And God bless you, and God bless America.
yeah, God bless America. One of the things I've noticed, and you've probably seen it too, is all the big news media guys like Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, all these guys, they're now doing podcasts. But it's funny because this is blood, sweat, and tears in here. Money, everything. I paid for it all myself. Rich has done the same at his end. And there's a learning curve. We don't have a staff.
Yeah.
That we don't have a producer, a director, a script, any of that BS.
Yeah. Rich went out and spent his own money to buy all those books back there behind him because we all know he can't read.
No, he actually picked those up. He picked those up at a book sale for the homeless or something.
Hey, you know, my puzzles that I do aren't those 500 or 1,000-piece puzzles. I have the 8 pieces with the dinosaurs with the little peg on them, and you put them. That's as far as I go.
Yeah, play school.
Yep, that's it.
Play school.
We
Yeah,
paid out of our own money for these sets, baby. Nobody paid us to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and it's crazy that you end up doing this. Well, what initially got me interested in doing this show was exactly what you said. The defunding cops, the villainizing cops, the attacking cops,
the murdering cops. I mean, wrap your mind around this. Murdering cops.
Yeah.
At levels all-time record number of cops murdered in the line of duty. That's what they accomplished. All-time record number of cops shot in the line of duty. And now, thanks to the current administration, with the second lowest number of cops murdered in the line of duty. Turn the tide in 1 year.
And now we see it on TV with federal ICE agents doing their job. The ICE agents, look at that place in New Jersey.
In New Jersey, yeah.
And they don't learn. They don't learn.
But they get media coverage, and that's and they feed their little sick base out there. And we got to feed our base. I'll tell you what else we got too, guys. We got Islam attacking our nation. Now you come to our nation and you come in here, you embrace our laws, you embrace our way of life. We welcome you. Come in legally. But I want to show you somebody here. Now this is Charlie. Now Charlie is
hey, Charlie.
Hey guys, wave to everybody. Charlie, say high five, Charlie. High five. Good job. Get a treat. Yes, you get a treat now. You did a high five. You get a treat.
Right? He did his job.
I did my high five.
You know, you're violating Islamic law having a dog.
Exactly right. Now here's the thing. Here's what Charlie will tell you. Charlie doesn't trust anybody who doesn't like dogs. I mean, that's it. And bottom line, and that's the way we should all feel. Anybody who doesn't like dogs immediately should lose all of our trust. Right there.
Yeah.
And yet we're embracing these people. And instead of embracing our, and something else about Charlie. Now he's, you got one treat, buddy. That's all you got right now. He did another high five. He said, look, I did a high five. Where's my treat, dude? So here's the thing now. Charlie identifies as a Belgian Malinois. Yeah. But I want you to look at that white skunk. You see, you turn him upside down, he's a skunk. See?
Yeah.
I can see it in his eyes.
The skunk or the Malinois?
The Malinois.
Yeah.
Now, Charlie is actually my service dog. I'm a veteran. My ears are shot out.
Awesome.
And Charlie lets you know when the alarm goes off in the morning.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he is merciless. Now, I want to tell you a story. This first time I told this story on him. We just did a Christian youth camp. Now, I mentioned this on my social media. It's an amazing thing run by a bunch of tier 1 spec ops guys. It's this Christian youth camp. And Charlie and I go off in the woods and roll out my fart sack and my air mattress, and I sleep by myself. And Charlie lets me know when somebody comes in the night. I'm deaf, but Charlie is my alarm dog. That's what he gets paid to do. And so here's the thing. Now we spent 3 days and 2 nights out training these magnificent kids in this magnificent camp. I mentioned it all on my social media, Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. It's an awesome camp. But Charlie comes home now. Charlie is merciless. Charlie does not believe in the snooze button. The snooze button is the spawn of the devil. When the alarm goes off, he's in my face and it's time
Get up
to
and go.
Right. So we get home after three days in the field, right? Just 3 days. And the alarm goes off the next morning. And I'm like, and Charlie says, ah.
Oh yeah, it's his turn.
My alarm dog is broken for the first time in his life. The alarm goes off, and Charlie says, "I don't think so."
Yeah.
Well, he enjoyed being out in the woods there, relaxing. Mother
That was
Nature.
it. He said,
Yeah. And Charlie waking you up with the alarm was doing what you used to do to Boots growing up.
exactly right.
You know, we all
payback, right? It's payback.
yeah,
It's
we've
karma,
all had those
karma.
stories.
That's what they call it these days. It's karma coming back. Hey, Colonel, you were waking up. I was a sergeant, and then I came up through the ranks, and I had lots of camps across the years, waking the troops up in the morning. And this is karma with Charlie just getting back in your face and making you get up in the morning when you don't feel like it. Yeah.
Well, that's what your experience brought you to, all that wealth of knowledge you had and your experiences in life, all those books you've written, and now you're giving back to the people.
Praise God. It was awesome stuff. And it is totally on my own time. It's a group of people I'm supporting. But I tell you guys, they said, holy cow, you're 70 years old. I'm 70 years old.
Young.
I'll be 70 in August. And you're out in woods doing the stuff with these guys, sleeping on your own. You're out, you're just out there rolling out your sleeping bag. I don't need no stinking tent. It's a nice night.
Yeah.
But on my 70th birthday, it'll be on my social media, where I'm going to elevate. I've got a tombstone. And my tombstone is a bench. It's a bench with a big tombstone. On my 70th birthday, I'm going to elevate my feet on the tombstone and do push-ups. I'm a 70th birthday, and Charlie's going to sit there and say, "Yeah, dude, I'll do that later."
Yeah. It's funny. Everybody that hasn't been in the military watches all these military movies, Full Metal Jacket, where they run in, waking guys up with trash cans and shit. The sad thing is, for that short period of time, under less than brave individuals that run the country, like the Democrats, for one thing.
Those folks, yes. Godless.
Yeah. Oh,
heathen.
The military.
Pastors, yes.
Yeah. We had that woke period of military, and I think we got it back now with Pete Hegseth.
Oh.
And
renaming the military bases, renaming the freaking military bases.
Yeah.
And every general responsible for that should just be fired right now. Boom, you're fired. You're gone.
I watched
up to woke insanity. And then the fall of Afghanistan. Every general who was in authority when Afghanistan fell should be driven out of the military and told, you're just lucky to hang on to your retirement pay. You should be driven out of the military. Every general responsible and remotely responsible for the fall of Afghanistan, every general remotely responsible for renaming those military bases just needs to be driven out. And whatever they were doing, if they weren't standing up and screaming bloody murder, then they need to go find another job. They can be a Walmart greeter. That's about all they're qualified to do.
They don't really have greeters anymore.
Yeah, I know.
They just have people that check your receipt.
Yeah.
But that speech in October 25 by Mr. Hegseth was a beautiful speech. He
was a great American. He is a great man. And I want you to notice something here.
We'll take him on the show too. You hook us up, we'll take them on the show.
No, just hook me up with them. I'd love to be. But, I tell you, the, look at the first Trump administration. He had Mad Dog Mattis, and
Oh, yeah.
he found out he's kind of a Democrat, and he found out this guy's a loser. And he had a general who's chief of staff, and he found out this guy's a loser. And I know this is hard to hear, guys, but most of our general officers are politicians, and they're broken. Tell me the last general officer that accomplished anything. Tell me the last one that wrote, that came home and became a politician, a great politician. Tell me the last one who came home
Eisenhower?
and wrote a best-selling book, other than a one-shot thing because he was, in charge of the SEALs. Tell me the last one who really came home and ran and was the CEO of a great corporation. And what Trump found out is they were broken. And the military just, we by the time you reach that rank, you only get that rank because you're a politician. General officers, now your listeners will find this interesting. Our military are magnificent, right up to about the rank of colonel. There's good generals out there now. But people don't understand how our generals are selected. They're nominated by the president and approved by the Senate, just like ambassadors, just like judges. So generals are politicians by definition, like ambassadors and judges. And you don't get that rank without compromising every step of the way and selling your soul. And again, there's a lot of good people I've worked for, a lot of great people, but the last general officer who retired in protest was during Jimmy Carter. And that was the last general officer who said, no, this isn't right. I retire in protest. And General Singlaub, who was a World War II hero, Vietnam hero, a Korea hero, great American, a spec guy, General Singlaub, he said Jimmy Carter was going to pull us out of Korea. And a year later, the North Koreans would have owned Korea. And General Singlaub said, resigned in protest. And Jimmy Carter said, okay, we'll just pull out one brigade of the division. And to this day, Korea is still free because a general officer, now if just one general officer had resigned in protest, Afghanistan might still be a free nation. If we had one there, tell me the last one, they're gutless pukes because not a one of them will resign in protest. The last time it happened was Jimmy Carter. And a bunch of those retired guys will get up there and talk some usually left-wing politics. But the point of it is that we had to find a Hegseth. We had to find a Hegseth. Well, he was just a captain. What's he know? Well, you tell me that he hasn't done a hell of a lot better job than Maddox did. And recognize the fact that this administration has learned their lesson. They find a magnificent men and women doing a magnificent job and leading our nation to glorious places in spite of the constant daily attack from the mainstream media. All of the corporate media. Now we've got CBS who's making a tide change, but ABC, NBC, CBS, BBC, CNN, and of course PBS. They're all totally in full foaming at the mouth, twisted, distorted misrepresentation of the Trump administration, and yet they're still hanging in there. And we got to fight the good fight every day. Just as we love our nation, as we love our children, as we love our God, as we love our way of life, we got to get out there and fight. And Charlie's in full agreement. High five, Charlie. High five. Oh, I got another treat. Oh, boy.
Yeah, American.
And Charlie says anybody that doesn't like dogs needs to be treated a double filter.
Look at New York right now. They got Mondami as mayor.
He won't have a dog. You know that. He's Islam. Let's see if he's got a pet dog in his house. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
But what's crazy is we had 9/11, the attack.
And over 25 years later, we got a Muslim mayor.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
And it's not that he's Muslim. He's a left-wing Marxist, anti-Israel Muslim. There's good Muslims out there. They're good people. But this man is everything that is evil about, and it's called Islamism, Islamism. And the director of national intelligence, the DNI, she said, Tulsi, she stood up and said, Islamism, which is politicized Islam, Islamism is the single greatest near and long-term threat to the existence of our freedoms.
Yep.
Islamism is the single greatest threat to the near and long-term existence of our freedoms. And this is the director of our national intelligence telling us this. Anybody see that screaming from the headlines? ABC, NBC, CBS, and yet we know it. Our intel people are telling us this. This is the rising challenge across our civilization. And who's the mayor of New York City? A man who's totally sold out Islamism, anti-Israel, pro-Sharia, and totally sold out to Islamic law, and Marxist and communist to the core. And so God bless America, and get out there and fight for what you believe in, guys.
Absolutely.
Oh, by the way, did I mention to you, I'm kind of conservative in my politics. I don't know.
You know what's kind of cool is there's a good majority of law enforcement officers, retired and active duty, that are conservative.
Yes.
Same in the military.
The vast majority.
Same in the military.
Majority of our military, and the vast majority of our spec ops. Well, I just spent a weekend in the woods with a bunch of spec ops guys, and they were all, you would have loved every one of them. They were so squared away, and they're Christians. They got their heart right. They got their head right. And they were taking a bunch of magnificent young Americans and guiding them and nurturing them and mentoring them. You couldn't have in your life have put your children in the hands of a greater group of Americans.
Yeah.
Well, we've got to get to work, and it's going to take us a good decade to unmess up. I'm going to be polite in my verbiage. What's been messed up, and we've got to get to work, and
it's going to take a generation to turn it around. The garbage has been fed in our colleges. A generation that were brainwashed in our colleges. Those people are lost for life. We won't get them back. It's going to take a generation.
It actually goes back further than that, because a lot on the left have worshipped, like Sal Alinsky, Rules for Radicals, that book. They've used it as their doctrine for like getting communist type stuff started. And I shared a book that I have here. It's called The Enemies Within. And it's a great book. It talks about, and this one's an older version of it, so it has politicians in there that are sitting in Congress, their ties to these organizations, all this different stuff. And we got to clean it up. It's got to be cleaned up.
And let me show you, one of my books, guys, and it's the most important thing of all. I wrote, listen, guys, I wrote the book on killing.
Right.
Marine Corps Commandant's required reading list for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Every Marine knows it. It's required reading. It's got 1 million copies sold worldwide, translated in 9 languages. But the follow-on book is on combat. Also, Marine Corps Commandant's required reading list, 500,000 copies sold, translated in 7 languages, translated in Ukrainian Book of the Year award. They brought me out the summer of 24. I was in Ukraine training the military. I was 67 years old, spent my summer vacation in the war zone training their military. But here's the important one. And this, by the way, this is issued in the DEA Academy, issued to the Marshals Academy, last I heard. And required. I just trained a New York Chiefs of Police conference. They said it's required reading in many, many academies. But here's what it's all about: on spiritual combat. People said, I know Grossman's on killing. I know Grossman's on combat. What's it say about on spiritual combat? Because this is a battle, a battle against forces of evil. Yep. It's a spiritual battle, and it's a battle against forces of evil. And we've got to come at it from that perspective. And we got to have God on our side. We're a nation. What's our national motto? In God we trust. We're one nation under God. And that's what and it's not one nation in Allah. It's not in Allah we trust. You understand? And we shouldn't be ashamed to say we're not one nation under Allah. We're not one nation. We're one nation. Our every coin and every dollar bill doesn't say in Allah we trust. We're in God we trust. This is our national motto. We got to wrap our mind around it. And in the end, this is vital. In the end, everybody's going to die physically.
Yeah.
In the end, every nation falls over my dead body. How long we got? Another 100 years, another 1,000 years. But
well, not if we can't.
Eternity goes on forever.
Yeah,
everybody dies. Every nation falls. But what happens after you die is the most important thing of all. On spiritual combat. Anybody knows my stuff said, okay, what's Grossman say about this? Boom. Here's where it's at. Here's what I put it on the line for.
Hey, we got a question from somebody watching the show for you, Colonel.
Awesome.
Are we live right now? Holy cow! People,
we're
live right now. Holy cow! I'm in big trouble right now. I better. You might be coming home right now, hunting me down.
Yeah,
Charlie will defend me. Charlie, you'd see the bells and mountain. I got another treat.
We got a question. It's from Michael Danner.
Oh, Mike
good
Danner.
afternoon, Lieutenant Colonel Grossman. Good to see you and hear you again. What are your thoughts on our younger generation and what we can do to help them navigate through society today? Yeah. And then he closes, amen, and in God we trust.
Amen, in God we trust. And it's not, like I said, it's not in Allah we trust. Well, you know, I tell you what, there's so many things we need to do. We need to lead by example, first and foremost.
Yes.
Yeah. We need to dedicate, like this group of Spec Ops warriors that are running this Christian youth camp. What a magnificent thing to do.
Example.
We've got people out there crying for you. You know, the Boy Scouts need volunteers, and there's things we can be doing for them. The church youth groups have got things we can be doing for them. My daughter-in-law, or my granddaughter, they live right across the backyard from us now. She's got a boyfriend, and I've got him on the range every Sunday for an hour. Every Sunday for an hour on the range with this young man. And one of the most powerful and virtuous tools I can give anybody is that. And let me show you something right now. I'm going to show you something. This is what virtue and honor is all about. This is really, really a great question. Thank you for your question. This is something I sell on my website. It's about the giving of a weapon. Now, all of these weapons are gifts, and I got to think about the giving of a weapon. And here's what it says. Now, listen to these words. I've got this sword behind me. It was a gift. It says, giving someone a weapon implies your trust in the maturity and responsible behavior of the recipient. It speaks of your desire for their safety and well-being. Giving someone a weapon communicates your mutual aspiration to make the world a better and safer place by putting this tool in the hands of a virtuous and trustworthy person. But remember, in the end, you are the weapon. Everything else is just a tool. And this is from my book on combat. So here's the point. Start your grandkids and your kids off with their first pocket knife. Just their first little, remember their first little Schrade pocket knife?
Yeah.
And teach them to whittle with it, and teach them to whittle away from themselves, and teach them to never, ever, ever use this in an unsafe manner. Let them know the magnitude of trust you placed in them by putting this in their hands. We grew up having a little pocket knife. They can't take it to school anymore. That's cool. Let them know that. But understand, if you got your pocket knife, my kids, my grandkids, if you got your pocket knife, and this is a tool I'm putting in your hands because I trust you. And then as they get a little older, I've got a Grossman sheepdog. It's an Emerson knife. You know, spend the money on get, or maybe I'll tell you what's an intermediate step. It's a Swiss Army knife. and it costs
Yeah.
way too much money. So have a dummy cord. I was a young lieutenant, and lots about three, and that was a lot of money for me back in those days of raising a family on a lieutenant's pay. I was a sergeant, but I finally put it on a dummy cord and never took it off without having a cord. If I loaned it to somebody, I took the dummy cord off and it had a cord dangling from it. But give them just a little Swiss Army knife and put it on a dummy cord and let them carry that around in their pocket and all the tools, and maybe give them a Leatherman and put a Leatherman on their hip. And now they got pliers and a screwdriver.
Yep.
And that's what it means to be a man. And here's what these tools do. Here's what, and I'm telling you, this is the path to raise a warrior. Take them to the martial arts. I grew up in the martial arts. I love the martial arts. Take them to the range, teach them responsible behavior, and read this to them on a steady basis. This young man coming down to the range, I read it to him. I gave him one. This Sunday, I'm going to read it to him again. How I'm placing this trust in him, in his virtue and his honor. I'm placing this trust in him. And I'm going to go ahead and talk to him about being a man of honor. Maybe he'll marry my granddaughter, maybe not, but he's in my hands for a brief period of time. And I'm going to try to pass on about what it means to be a man of honor and to be responsible for bringing in money and holding down and maybe doing some crappy job every day of your life to put food in your children's bellies and a roof over their head. And that's what it means to be a man. And so just Belly Up, what a great question. Raise this next generation to the best of your ability. Every kid that you find around you, try to bring them up to that next level and nurture them and guide them along these paths. And I tell you, most of all, they got to have the God, like you said, in God we trust. But they got to have God, and that means take them to church with you and put them in your summer vacation Bible school. Take them to church with you and let them go to the Sunday school class, and then take them out to lunch and give them an ice cream sundae. And nurture them. But if you're not leading the path yourself, it's going to be hard to lead others. If you're not going to church every Sunday, how can you take the neighbor kid to church on Sunday? If you're not leading a virtuous path, how can you lead somebody else on that virtuous path? And if you're not carrying a knife on you, how can you tell somebody else the virtue of carrying this tool with you? In England, you can't carry a pocket knife. You like you said, Curly was saying, in England, there's somebody, they came to America, they shot in a range, they put it on social media, and the cops came and arrested them. Now, it was a stupid local cop doing a stupid thing, but it shows the outer edge of the insanity going on in that nation.
We've got to fix our broken society.
Yes, it's broken. And it starts with putting a pocket knife in the kid's pocket and tell them what that means and how to use it safely and appropriately.
Raising
or
the children,
a Army knife and let them know what the screwdriver attachment does, and letting them know, and giving them a Leatherman to put on their hip, and letting them know what it means to be a man is to pull that thing out and to help your mom out by whipping out that little screwdriver attachment and helping your mom repair that thing right in front of your eyes. My wife said, just last week, my wife said, the garage door opener is not working. And I went out, well, the little remote, the little eye that's right down low that says that the path is clear has come off and the two wires are broken off. And I sat right there with my pocket knife and I stripped the stuff off the wire. I loosened the two. I put the right one on the right, that I put the positive on the positive, the negative on the negative, and I turned them the right direction. I put it back on. I said, what a man you got that can sit there with his pocket knife and fix that problem instead of calling a repairman and charging $300 to come out here and to strip the wires and put the screws on. I hope you appreciate who you got here.
Well, hopefully you got a good dinner that night.
Yeah, she said, yes, dear. Now take out the trash, please.
Yeah, there you go. That's a leader.
Well, lead by example. So what a great question. Take that next generation and teach them how to be men.
Yep.
And teach them what it means to have a pocket knife in your pocket and just make that little repair right there, and to whittle things, and to turn off the TV, turn off the cell phone. Do not give them a cell phone until they're out of the house. They don't need it, and do not let them sit there and watch that insanity. That's part of the mind virus. We're not designed to process that stuff. I mean, how much visual entertainment is happening right here? Other than seeing Charlie, many of you are probably listening to this now on audio, and you're not missing a blasted thing. But here's the thing: we're designed to process the written word and the spoken word.
Yeah.
And this the written word is just voices in our head. When somebody puts the pictures out there for you, they have broken you. So a 2-hour movie's fine, but when you're watching a steady stream of movie and TV shows and that's all you do, you're broken. A podcast, and maybe a visual podcast like this, is no big deal. You get to look somebody in the face. We're talking. That's different. But if there's action, and quick cut scenes and crazy stuff going on all the time, they're breaking you because you're not designed to process that. And so all of the media that's out there, the video games, they steal our sleep, and
they're
our
killing our
time.
kids.
Yes, and they steal our children. And
Yep.
so the podcasts are good. They when doom scrolling videos of cats, doom scrolling videos of puppy dogs, or doom scrolling videos of the latest political insanity. It's not good for you.
So you're
We're
talking
not
about
intended for that.
the video games. You did something with a roundtable with President Trump with video
Yeah.
games with children.
I did. In the first Trump administration, I was part of the President's Roundtable on Violent Video Games. I'd written a book. Now, by the way, I wrote a book. I co-authored a book with Glenn Beck, great guy in person, Glenn Beck. We wrote a book called Control, Exposing the Truth About Guns. And it's not about controlling guns. It's about controlling people. Glenn Beck,
Yep.
Control, the very best book ever written on gun control.
Wow.
The first 2/3 of the, now get this is important, guys. The first 2/3 of the book say the guns have always been there. Now, I tell every audience this. Now, get this. Up until 1968, any kid at any age, those high capacity semi-automatic military weapons, like an M1 carbine? Any kid at any age could order an M1 carbine through the US mail, and the mailman would deliver to your house. Up until 1968, any kid at any age could order one of those high-capacity semi-automatic military weapons, M1 carbine, through the mail, and the local mailman would deliver to your door. The guns are not new. We're doing a better job. I'm glad we changed that law. Okay? We're good at that. We're keeping guns out of the hands of kids. We're doing a better job. But the guns are not new. You got to ask yourself, what's new? And the sick movies and the sick TV shows and the sick video games and the new things. So
we're inflicting the thoughts.
The first 2/3 of the book say the guns are not new. The last third of the book is a home run hit about the sick movies and TV shows and video games. So Glenn Beck released this book, New York Times bestseller. Not one single review anywhere other than Amazon and Goodreads. Look, you can attack a New York Times bestseller. What you cannot do is the entire industry absolutely refuse to give it any oxygen. Nobody would touch this book when they said the guns are not the problem. The sick movies and TV shows and video games are the problem. And boom, I mean, the print media, the radio, nobody would touch this book. The minute we said the problem is not the guns, it's a sick TV show, movie, and video games fed to children. Adults can process that. It's poison to children. So my book that takes that so much further, my book, and that's why the president brought me on board, was my book, Assassination Generation. And folks, in 2005, the state of California overwhelmingly voted to regulate children's access to violent video games. Now get this, Hollywood said, yeah, we're good at this. Silicon Valley said, yeah, we're cool with this. The brain scan data on the video games The brain scan data was so powerful. Here's your kid's brain. Here's your kid's brain on video games. End of discussion. The data was so powerful, the state of California overwhelmingly voted to regulate children's access to violent video games. Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor. Arnold signed the law. And the video game industry fought all the way. It's in my book, Assassination Generation by Grossman. Go to my website and get it. I'll sign a copy for you. And the video game industry fought all the way to the Supreme Court.
Wow.
To sell any game to any kid at any age. And they conned 7 out of 9 old men. 7 Supreme Court justices never played Pong in their life, overturned the California law. Now, how many people know that? How many people know the data was that powerful? How many people know the state of California voted? Hollywood, no problem. Silicon Valley, no problem. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Roger out. How many know that they fought to the Supreme Court? How many know? The dissenting opinions are really important. Stephen Breyer and Clarence Thomas, the only time those two ever dissented on the same side, dissented. And how many know that? So it's in the book, Assassination Generation. And I was part of the President's Roundtable on violent video games. And the video game industry said, we got to destroy this guy, Grossman. The video game industry are sitting on one side of the table. They said, we got to shut this guy down.
It's all about money to them. It's all about money to them. They don't care about the collateral damage. I said it's all about money in Hollywood. They don't care about the collateral damage.
No. They do not care that they're doing it to children. Look, we accept the facts that children shouldn't buy guns. Children shouldn't have access to guns. Children shouldn't drive cars. Shouldn't have alcohol. But their industry has fought any regulation for children to purchase anything of theirs. And do you understand how sick this industry is? And we say, well, we control porn. No, you don't. You don't accept any control of porn. No real control of pornography on adults. Okay, adults, no big deal. But children's access to pornography that raises them from the youngest days and twists their minds and twists our civilization and creates a next generation of pedophiles. We don't understand how this entire industry is feeding on our children and fighting tooth and nail against any attempt to regulate children's access to their products. And that's the battle. That's the whole thing. So thanks for asking, Rich. I'm sure you're glad you asked that one now. Holy cow. Let's get on to the next subject.
It's an important topic and the general public shies away from that. But yeah, when we all grew up, I remember, on Friday afternoons at high school, you'd see 15, 20 pickup trucks in the parking lot with shotguns in the rack.
Yes.
They were locked in there. It was never a threat.
No, it wasn't an issue.
There would be kids talking.
Ask yourself, think like a detective, think like a scientist. What is the new factor? The guns are not the new factor. The guns, we're doing a better job, but what is the new factor? And when you ask that question, you think like a detective, think like a scientist. Yeah. What is the new factor? Oh, it's broken families. No. After the American Civil War, we had more one-parent families per ratio than we've ever had before or since. During World War II, we had an entire generation of one-parent families who, broken families. No. It's the sick stuff being fed by Hollywood, television, movie, video games to our children. Protect them from that. Turn that garbage off. And have them get a life. Sit them on the front porch whittling on something with a pocket knife you just gave them. Hey, but one improvement over those days, let's get them a locking pocket knife. How many times did that dang thing fold back and cut you? Let's get a little bit of technology there. Let's find my grandkid one of those little bitty locking pocket knives so the dang thing won't fold back and cut him. But doggone it, sit him on the front porch whittling on a stick and sit there and talk with them for hours instead of putting them in front of the screen.
Colonel?
Yes.
I'm almost as old as you.
Yeah.
You would, and I like that hua. Anyway, when I was a kid, as you were, I don't know about Rich, but
I was young once.
He
We had-
is a kid. Rich is a kid.
we had rifle teams in school.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had guys that would go hunting after school, dove hunting, quail hunting. They have a shotgun in their truck.
Yep.
We did not have the violence in
Nowhere.
schools
No. Yeah.
then as we do now.
So what is the new factor? Oh, I blame
Yeah.
it on the parents. Well, why are the parents different? We had neglectful parents.
Yeah.
We had bad parents. We had parents who kicked them out the door and never saw them again until they came in there starving and said, "Feed us."
Yeah,
We
well, we
parents who
had
kicked them out the door and didn't let them back in until the street lights came on. Oh,
We
I
were-
blame it on the parents. I blame it on broken families.
Video games and movies.
What is the new factor?
Video
Yeah.
games and movies.
Amen.
Hey, in
Video
fact,
games, movies, and TV and porn being and this
Yeah,
stinking
the
cell
kids get it
phones
right
being-
right on this.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right on this.
yes.
and now part of the problem is AI.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
take it to the
AI
next
has
level.
good points, but it also has bad points because
And
there's
so-
been a whole series of these kids that create these AI friends,
Yeah.
like a AI girlfriend, and then they're talking about suicide and all these
Yes.
other factors.
Yes.
And you know,
So
you
again, it's like guns. Adults can have them. Children can have it with great concern and caution, but we
Yeah.
should not turn them indiscriminately on children.
yeah,
That's the key is this industry. Guys, we had automobiles for 50 years before somebody said, kids shouldn't be driving these things. Now you were a traffic cop. What if somebody said, well, as soon as a kid can look over the dashboard and reach for 50 years, if
That's
you could
not
reach the
good enough.
pedals and look over the dashboard, you could drive.
oh,
And
yeah.
but the automobile industry didn't say, no, we want children to buy cars. We want children to drive cars. They didn't say that. The gun industry didn't fight laws to restrict. They embraced laws to restrict children's access to. But what
Yeah.
industry is there
Yeah,
that
but
fought against every opportunity to restrict children's access to their product?
Hollywood.
And that's who we're fighting. That's
Yeah.
the new factor in the equation.
The other thing too is, and I'll give you a quick example. When I was a deputy on the west side,
Oh, Phoenix.
west side of Phoenix, which would be out in Whitman
Buckeye.
area, we got a call about, well, a deputy out there saw this kid driving a little mini pickup truck, gets there, and the parents had given him the keys to the truck to go feed the animals at the corral down the road. So that's all he did, drive down there and come back. And the deputy ended up giving the parents a ticket for allowing him to drive the car. Is it a law? Yes, it is. And then we have what we call the spirit of the law. And when I was a kid, the same age, working a little ranch up in Blanding, Utah, guess what I got to drive? A tractor. I drove
a
that
dump truck in
tractor.
9.
I drove it all over town. It helped me be responsible. It helped me learn learn traffic laws and driving a tractor. I had to learn all that. And I think and somebody said, and I think it's Jordan Peterson that said it, how we protect the kids from things. And somebody else made the comment, and I think Rich remembers it. They said, how many kids do you see that are like 10, 11, 12 years old, little boys with broken arms anymore? You don't really see them
That's a great
because
point.
they're protected.
Yep.
Their moms and dads. Oh no,
They
don't
live
do
in bubble
that.
suits.
Yeah, they need to experience this stuff. They need to get over doing stuff. If they break their arm, I mean, I broke my arm twice when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And you learn.
My
You
granddaughter
love,
broke her arm on her rollerblades. You know, she broke her wrist on her rollerblades. I mean,
yeah,
but she had an activity. She was out. She was doing.
yeah,
That's the risk you take. That's the
You're
risk you
doing
take
life.
when they
Yeah.
get out there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
those risks that kids and Mike Danner, who's listening now, that had been commenting, those kids need to be
Yep.
less coddled. They need to be allowed to do things like we
But here's
were.
the key. But when they're what they do, all right, so now they're being less coddled. We let them do what they want to, and they're sucked into that video game. They're sucked into this industry.
Yes.
But we knew that they shouldn't. Okay, we drove the car on the farm. I drove a tractor on the farm. I thought it was a
Yep.
big deal driving the pickup truck on the farm or in my
Oh yeah.
uncle's
Hauling
ranch.
hay. Oh,
But we
absolutely.
knew that they shouldn't be driving a car on the street. We knew that they shouldn't be carrying a gun. I remember my dad let me carry I was 6 years old, and we went to the outhouse, and I got to carry a gun. It wasn't even loaded, but I got to carry a gun in case there was a bear, you know. But we knew we shouldn't be carrying guns. We knew that kids shouldn't be driving cars, but we don't know that kids shouldn't be playing video games. And we don't know that kids shouldn't be on cell phones. We don't know that stuff because this industry has fought tooth and nail. Keep asking the
Yep.
question. Read Glenn Beck's book. Read my book. Ask the question, what is the new factor? And it's not that they're being coddled because too many of them are turned loose. It's the opposite of that. It's that they have no supervision and they gravitate to this sick thing that they can't turn away from. It's a
Yeah.
drug.
Yeah.
And so, and we know they shouldn't have alcohol, but it's more addictive than alcohol because how many little 2-year-olds or 3-year-olds have you seen holding a tablet in front of their face like this? How many times have you seen
Yep.
parents having toddlers sit there holding this little tablet in front of their face?
During
Maybe it was
family
at
time.
the store.
Yeah.
Maybe it was at the store. That parents don't know that's wrong.
Yep.
The
It is.
Surgeon General just said a major release this week. The Surgeon General made a major release, and your toddler should not be doing that. How many
No.
saw that in the news? When you see a toddler holding that little thing in front of them, the parents don't know that's harmful. But the toddler,
Didn't-
it's so much. But he cries. Well, that's what makes him being a kid. Kids cry.
Yeah.
Try to
Yeah.
figure out what they need. Don't put that thing in front of them.
Wasn't
And
there
so,
wasn't
We
there
didn't
just
grow up with it. We turned out okay.
yeah,
wasn't there just a congressional hearing on the effects of social media and
Yeah.
online and how it's addictive, and there's some
Yes.
kind of,
yes.
and
And
even as an adult,
we just had a major Surgeon General's report this week on the harmful effect of all of this stuff.
yeah.
And you never heard about it, did you?
No.
And I
Is it- is
put
it-
a social media post on it.
Here's
But-
here's
yeah.
something else. That Surgeon General isn't like the last one we had that had some transgender issues, right?
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
oh.
We had that in the military. We had all this woke stuff going on, and now
Thank
we
God for
got
Hexton.
oh yeah, and we got and Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
He's make America healthy again. There's a lot of things in the direction of the country that we're going in. Yeah, and
We're
I
gonna fight
think
for it, guys. I mean, we're coming up to the last 4 minutes or so, and that's the bottom line. Here's the thing: you fight for what you love. I will die for my grandchildren. I will die for my nation. I will die for my way of life. I
Yep.
will die for what I love. And the most important thing you can do is politics. And I don't mean being on social media and watching the latest thing that gets you all wired up. I mean, get out there and get the vote. I mean, get involved in your local party.
Yep.
And if you're not voting, I don't want you to piss to me about one goddamn thing. I don't give a damn what rat's ass what you're watching if you're not out there voting. If you
Yeah.
don't go vote, then and you come up here and I will kick your
Amen.
stinking ass from here to hell. I don't care what your politics are. If you're not voting, then you just get the hell out of our nation. And here's the thing. If we're not out there voting and voting for what we love, then you're a godless, gutless, faithless American. And that's everything I got to say to you right now. Get out there and vote for what you love, or you're a godless, gutless puke. And you put that to everybody out there. If you're not out there voting for conservative, virtuous values to sustain our nation, and then you're a godless, gutless puke. And I don't care how many social media chat lines you come up on. I don't care how much media you're watching. When it comes right down to it, if you're not voting and bringing your neighbors to vote and kicking every friend's ass because they don't go vote, then you're a godless, gutless puke, and I don't want a thing to do with you.
Colonel, thank you.
Hey, thank you. And in the
right on.
Your dog. Can we see your dog one more time?
Charlie.
That's Charlie.
And Charlie says, if you don't like dogs, then I don't trust you, and nobody should trust you. And that's the bottom line.
I like it,
and
Charlie.
on that topic, our next week's guest on the show is Katrina Carr.
Katrina.
She does. It's called Yavapai Humane Trackers or Trappers. They go around and pick up stray dogs and find homes for them. And what
Charlie
we've seen.
Charlie says that's a good person. You should listen to them.
Yeah, and up
Charlie's
here,
watching next week.
Yeah, Charlie says everybody should come watch next week. We're watching.
Yeah, in fact, she's going to be in studio for the next show.
Outstanding.
And she runs this program. And there's a lot of irresponsible dog owners up here, actually down in Phoenix and everywhere. They just come up here. They can't take care of them.
Florida was murdered by 2 pit bulls. Neighbor's pit bulls came out and attacked her little dog, and she grabbed a little dog. It was headline news. And yeah, it's sad, Charlie. I know it's sad. It'll be all right.
Yeah, well,
she murdered by 2 pit bulls.
Yeah.
Now that's why we carry a gun 24/7, guys.
Yeah,
that's why we're ready to race out the door and kill those 2 dogs.
Yes, sir.
But the pit bull owner now is going to jail for murder. But it's like what the hell is happening here?
Yeah.
So if they're bad dogs, we put them down. If they're good dogs, we find a home for them. And these people are doing good things.
Yeah,
and everybody should listen to the next show. It's a worthy endeavor. And Charlie says, on that note, Charlie says, goodbye, everybody. Wait, high five, Charlie.
See you, Charlie.
Good job.
Goodbye. And hey, folks, keep an eye out for next show. Thank you, Colonel, for coming on.
God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
And God bless America.
Absolutely.